Hello, this is Mr. Sebree here, doing a little observation blog, not blog, vlog. This will be public, so just in case you don't know, I'm a student teacher. I'm a student who is studying to be a teacher at the University of Texas at Austin, and as part of my assignments, I have to do a little vlog talking about my observation experiences. And so that's what I'm going to be doing in this little video. Hopefully you enjoy. And I'm gonna make it as entertaining as possible. I believe I have to talk for 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm pretty good at yapping, so it should be pretty easy. But yeah, I don't really have a script. I'm not really a scripted kind of guy, so I'm gonna just kind of fly by the seat of my pants, but I have some topics that I'm gonna discuss. And so yeah, hopefully you enjoy a little bit. Perfect. So we'll just jump straight into it. I'm not going to be using any names of people or locations because confidentiality is important. But I'll say for context, I am observing a theater classroom in a high school. And what I'll say, I am observing at a Title I school as well. That is, I think, a very prevalent factor, is that I'm observing at a Title I school. And yeah, it's been a really, really fun time. I've enjoyed it. This is, for context, my first time observing at a Title I school, unless I think last semester we got to observe a little bit at one, but this is like my first time like really getting involved in terms of observation and interaction with at a Title I school, and I've been enjoying it a lot so far. The kids are wonderful. They are just so funny. They're really, really funny kids, and are so willing to do the work under like the circumstances. As long as you give them the good circumstances, because they're not just going to be the kids that will sit at the table and be like, what's my work today? What's my workload? They don't do that. That bothers me anyways. That's like not a thing that I rock with. That's not how I want to operate the classroom. I want it to be a conversation, and they are very much like conversational, and I don't want to say less informal, but because that it kind of has a negative connotation for some reason, but they're really, really, really fun to work with and to like teach. I got to do so this is like for the past 2 weeks I've been doing this. I guess I've had 3 days of observation. The most recent day of observation was really, really fun. I got to teach, not to teach, but I got to run. No, I didn't teach. I taught them a game. I taught them a game called Bibbidi Bibbidi Bop. Sorry, I have my computer up with my points so that way I can reference it. But I taught them a game called Bibbidi Bibbidi Bop. It was super, super fun. If you don't know, it's like a kind of like a focus game. It's fun. It's silly. And they loved it. They were taking it weird at first because I was a new guy, and I'm sure that they were just they didn't know what was going on. But then like as we got into it, they started buying into it more, and it led to a really fun experience. And I love those kids so much. They're so sweet. But yeah, so in particular, just to kind of talk about this particular vlog is going to be focused on the things that I'm seeing in terms of communication with my CT, which stands for cooperating teacher, for those of you who don't know. I will be discussing a little bit about the communication methods that I'm seeing, which I think are very, very prevalent, because at the end of the day, having a good basis of communication with your students is key to a successful classroom, in my opinion. So I think it's really important. So I'm just going to state the questions that I have on my list, and I'll just sort of discuss them. The future videos may change. We'll see how I continue to evolve this. But this is just kind of where we're starting, and I think it'll be fun. So the first question that I have is, what modes of communication does the CT provide for students to encourage expression of learning? That's a really interestingly worded question. I would say the big thing is that my CT is very much a sarcastic person and loves making jokes and bits. Something about the kids at this high school is that they love a good bit. They love a good roast as well, which is very, very fun. I'm kind of built the same way. I love a good roast. It's in good faith and all in fun. In good fun, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. In good fun, but in good fun and in good taste, because there's obviously times you don't want to do that, and there's a certain amount of professionality that you want to balance. And I think that my cooperative teacher has a phenomenal balance of that. And so they generally tend to work. They're not afraid to hey, you clap back with a roast if something happens, because it gets the kids engaged, for one. They think it's funny, and it gets them focused. That's a big thing, is like just the ability to grab students' attentions is so vitally important, even if it's like just for something silly. You know, that's the start, because then as soon as they're looking at you, you can start teaching. That's the big thing for me that I'm realizing is no matter what the gateway is, no matter what the buy-in is, you need them to buy in a little bit, and that's a really good way to do it. I'm just not realizing that, oh, no. Sorry about that cut. I realized that my phone storage is depleting, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't run out of storage mid-recording, because then it would delete the entire video, and I just wanted to make sure that happened. But anyways, back to the topic. So the big thing is using gateways like humor is a really big way to encourage expression and learning. Also, just like allows for good talkbacks, always providing opportunities for questions, and is always around. A big thing that I learned is that my CT always goes into the hallway during passing periods to talk to kids. Just to like catch up, see what's going on in their day, even if they're no longer in their classroom. Like if they're somebody who used to take a theater class but moved on to do something else, they're still maintaining that rapport, and I think that was really beautiful. How does the CT adjust their level of formality and casualness during instruction? It heavily depended, and like I kind of said, it was a little bit more casual for the most part, especially when it was game time, because they just want to have fun. But at the end of the day, I do remember a couple of moments where, like, my CT was like, hey, you guys gotta lock in. We're locking in on this thing, whatever it was. I think they were getting certifications recently for some theater safety stuff, and they were my CT was like, yeah, you guys gotta lock in on this, get it done. Like, this is a really important stuff, and that's when it became a lot more formal. And I think that was a phenomenal use of balance for that. I really enjoyed that a lot. What are some challenges that you have noticed and feel could be addressed to increase the level of student engagement? Sometimes kids just, and this is something that I think is a problem everywhere, is that with the way that the classroom was organized, things are kind of distant. And thankfully, a solution that was done was that my CT did a lot of walking around the class during like when they were doing independent activity stuff, and when they were working on their certifications. That was kind of something they did on their own, but I could notice that like some kids were maybe not on task as much. But the solution to this, the solution to this was that my CT would do check-ins consistently, and sometimes like they were like slacking off, but the CT was always very good about being like, hey, please do this. This is really important stuff, and the solution was not only the check-in but expressing like, hey, this is important stuff. And I think that's a really big thing, is if you just are honest and like, hey, this is important, then I think most kids will take it seriously. They want to do the important stuff. And if you tell them the truth that it's an important thing for them to accomplish, then I think it's super effective. I think it's amazingly effective. What strategies is your CT using to establish and maintain connections and relationships with students? Like I said, comedy is a big one. Stepping out of the hallway, I'm going to be doing that forever now. That was like being able to just watch as my CT like just started having casual conversation with students and being like, how's the game? Or how was the game this weekend? Or are you ready for the game that's coming up? Or, oh, how'd you do on that test? I know you were stressed about that. And like just establishing such a phenomenal rapport is, it was really inspiring, honestly. And regardless of where I end up teaching, that's something that I care a lot about. Obviously, I want to do what I can to, maintain that level of professionality, and I think that it's a fine line. I think my CT is phenomenal at not crossing it. I think it's, from what I've seen, but it's something that I care a lot about, is establishing that rapport and relationship with the students. It's because at the end of the day, like, I think it's very easy for a teacher to be like, I am your teacher, and that is all. And I think that for some teachers that works, but for theater, it's a lot more involved. And the way that I want to run my classroom is very much discussion-based and collaboration, because that's what theater is. It's collaboration. And so I want to make room for that through my lectures and through my content and through my teachings. I want to make space for that open discussion, collaboration, forum type situation, if that makes sense. Awesome. What is the strategy or method that the CT uses to interact, communicate, and or engage with their students that you might consider incorporating in your own practice? I guess I should talk about, one is the like I said, going into the hallway was a very big thing. Allowing for open discussion and not like shutting people down was very cool, actually. They're like, just like, even though like my CT was very good about allowing students to say what was on their mind, but then like, and wouldn't shut things down, but would always like manage to have control when they really needed it. And that was really cool, because that's something that I stress out about, is that I'm going to lose control of a class and then I won't be able to get it back. But my CT is really, really good about maintaining at least some grasp of control over the classroom, because it is important to make sure that you have control over the classroom, so that way you're actually able to teach things properly. It's super, super, super important. Other than that, I think there was also a lot of allowing for discussion after class, after and before class. I know that it's important for teachers to protect their peace and to I'm very big on hey, I need my space. I need my alone time. But I think it's super, super important to allow that, hey, if we need to have a really, really quick powwow, we can, because some students aren't comfortable talking about those things in front of other students. That's something that you have to be prepared for as a teacher. And my CT is very, very good about that, and would from my point of view, was always available to talk to students whenever they needed it, whether it was after class, whether it was before class, and it was really, really cool just to see that. And so overall, yeah, my CT is phenomenal communication style. Did it get a little informal sometimes? Yeah, but I think that can vary based on teachers, and very obviously it is working so well for them. All of the students seem so engaged, they seem to enjoy the class so much, and they really, really love the teacher that's teaching there. And so that was really, really fun to get to see and to be a part of that. It just gets me really excited, and it makes me really, really excited for the future of teaching. So that's going to be the end of this vlog. I think I've reached about the 11, 10, 12 minute mark. And I don't want it to be too long, especially because if I ramble for forever, then that's boring and that's not fun. And in future, I'm sure that the other videos will be a bit more organized. I'm kind of ramshackling this together right now, but it's okay. But yes, I'm super excited to keep doing these vlogs and to see where it goes. If you enjoyed, I know that for a fact that I'm going to have some professors watching this, but if you're not a professor for whatever reason and you're watching this, feel free to comment, subscribe. I'm going to try to keep posting about my educational journey as it becomes relevant. So if that's something that you're interested in, then stick around. It'll be fun. I didn't think of a good catchphrase to say. I guess for now, see you on the other side. Peace out, gang.